It's hard to believe that 1975 was half a century ago. Those were the days of authentic voices and stories that touched our souls. Today, we're diving deep into some remarkable songs that are hitting the Big 5-0 in 2025. Get ready to relive some memories that might surprise you. And yes, there's more to these tracks than you might remember. I Can Help by Billy Swan emerged from the unlikeliest of places, a tiny studio in Nashville where Swan worked as a security guard. Before his breakthrough, Swan spent years writing songs for other artists, including Clyde McPhatter and Elvis Presley.
You need a hand, I can assure you this, I can help.
The song was actually written on a Hammond organ that belonged to Chris Christopherson's band, and Swan composed it during his night shifts between watching security cameras. Today, Billy Swan's influence continues to ripple through country music, though he's largely stepped away from the spotlight. He occasionally performs at select venues and has become something of a mentor to emerging Nashville talent. The raw honesty in his music has influenced artists like Chris Stapleton and Sturgill Simpson, who credit Swan's unpolished authenticity as a guiding light. Here's something that'll raise your eyebrows. I Can Help was recorded in just 2 takes, and Swan insisted on using the first one complete with mistakes. The producer wanted to clean it up, but Swan argued that the imperfections made it real. Fallen in Love by Hamilton, Joe Frank, and Reynolds tells a different story. The band formed in the late 1960s while serving in the U.S. Marine Corps, and their military background influenced their precise harmonies and disciplined approach to music. However, by the time this hit came around, internal tensions were threatening to tear the group apart. The band's story took a dark turn after their success. Original member Dan Hamilton struggled with health issues that would eventually claim his life in 1994. Yet, their legacy endures through their pristine vocal arrangements, which have influenced countless harmony groups. Today, Joe Frank Carollo occasionally performs the group's hits at special events. Few fans know that Fallen in Love almost never made it to radio. The record label wanted to shelve it, believing it was too soft for the mid-70s market. The band had to fight to get it released, even threatening to break their contract. Feelings by Morris Albert stirred up quite a controversy when it was released. Albert, a Brazilian singer-songwriter, faced accusations that he'd lifted the melody from a 1956 French song. The legal battles that followed would last decades and eventually resulted in a substantial settlement. A fascinating detail about Feelings that few people know: the song was originally titled Pour toi, meaning for you in French, and was written in Spanish. Albert translated it into English himself, despite not being fluent in the language at the time. He worked with a language coach for weeks to get the pronunciation right for the recording. The song's universal theme of lost love made it one of the most covered songs of the 1970s, with over 100 recorded versions in various languages. Before we continue, I'd love to hear your memories of these songs. What was happening in your life when they first hit the airwaves? Share your stories in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying reliving these times. Let's keep these memories alive together. When Linda Ronstadt released When Will I Be Loved, she was already challenging the music industry status quo. Originally a Buck Owens tune, Ronstadt's version showcased her ability to bridge country and rock, though it wasn't without criticism from purists who thought she was betraying both genres. The male-dominated industry tried to pigeonhole her, but she consistently defied expectations. Ronstadt's career continued to evolve in unexpected ways, from operetta to traditional Mexican music. Today, though retired due to her battle with progressive supranuclear palsy, her influence resonates through artists like Trisha Yearwood and Carrie Underwood. Her fearless genre crossing paved the way for today's fluid musical landscape. In a revealing interview, Ronstadt shared that she recorded When Will I Be Loved in a single take after spending the morning jogging. She claimed the slight breathlessness in her voice added to an urgency to the recording that couldn't be replicated in subsequent takes. Chevy Van by Sammy Johns caused quite a stir upon its release. The song's suggestive lyrics about a romantic encounter in a van sparked outrage among conservative radio stations, with some refusing to play it. Johns wrote the song based on his own experiences touring in a Chevrolet van, though he later admitted the story was largely fictional.
She's gonna love me in my Chevy van, and that's all right with me.
Johns passed away in 2013, but his song had an unexpected impact on American culture. Chevrolet reported a significant spike in van sales following the song's success, and custom van culture of the 1970s often credited this song as its unofficial anthem. The song has been featured in numerous films and TV shows about the era. Surprisingly, Johns initially thought the song was too controversial to record. His producer convinced him by pointing out that times were changing and the song captured a cultural moment. Barry White's "You're the First, the Last, My Everything" emerged from an unlikely source. Originally written as a country song in the 1950s, White completely reimagined it, transforming it into a soul classic. The song's creation was particularly challenging as White was dealing with personal issues and record label pressure at the time.
You're the first, the last, my everything.
Here's a remarkable fact about the recording session. White was known for his perfectionism in the studio, but this song was unique. The backing vocals, performed by the Love Unlimited trio, which included his wife, had to be recorded in almost complete darkness. White believed that darkness helped them feel the emotional depth of the lyrics more intensely. The technique worked so well that he used it on several subsequent recordings. The song took an astonishing 27 takes to perfect, with White insisting on recording his vocal track only after midnight, claiming the love songs need night air to breathe properly. Though his voice fell silent in 2003, Barry White's influence continues to resonate. His distinctive bass baritone voice and orchestral soul arrangements changed the landscape of R&B music. The Love Unlimited Orchestra, which he founded, set new standards for musical arrangements in soul music, influencing contemporary artists like Bruno Mars and John Legend. Not many people know that White's deep voice was partially the result of a strange childhood incident. His voice changed dramatically at age 14, and he was so shocked that he refused to speak for several days, thinking something was wrong with him. This very voice would later become his trademark. Hold on there. If these memories are stirring something in you, take a moment to give this video a thumbs up. Better yet, share it with friends who lived through this incredible era of music. We're building a community of music lovers who understand that these songs are more than just tracks. They're chapters of our lives. Olivia Newton-John's "Please Mr. Please" captured the hearts of both country and pop audiences, though it wasn't an easy journey. The Australian singer faced significant resistance from Nashville's traditional country music establishment. Some radio stations initially refused to play her music, claiming she was too pop for country audiences.
Please, Mr. Please, don't play me.
Before her passing in 2022, Newton-John's career spanned multiple decades and genres. Her battle with cancer became as much a part of her story as her music, inspiring millions through her advocacy and resilience. Her work establishing the Olivia Newton-John Cancer Wellness and Research Center in Melbourne continues to impact lives today. Here's a surprising detail. The song was inspired by a real jukebox in a small bar in London. The songwriter, Bruce Welch, watched a woman repeatedly try to prevent other patrons from playing a specific song that reminded her of a lost love. The story resonated with Newton-John, who had recently gone through a broken engagement. "You're No Good" marked another triumph for Linda Ronstadt, though its path to success was anything but smooth. The song had already been recorded by several artists, including Betty Everett and the Swinging Blue Jeans, but Ronstadt's version almost didn't happen. Her producer initially opposed recording it, believing it had been done to death. The song's success helped establish Ronstadt as a force in rock music, though she faced constant scrutiny in the male-dominated industry. Her band included members who would later form the Eagles, and her arrangements influenced countless artists. Even today, her version is considered the definitive recording of the song. The track's distinctive guitar sound came from an amplifier that was literally falling apart. The engineer wanted to replace it, but Ronstadt insisted on keeping it, saying its unstable sound perfectly matched the song's angry emotion. Dynamite by Bazooka rode the disco wave with a unique twist. The instrumental track emerged from a group of session musicians who were tired of playing behind other artists. However, their record label was skeptical about releasing an instrumental single with just one word repeated throughout. The band was actually a studio creation that never toured, though the song's success led to numerous copycat instrumental disco releases. The musicians involved went on to play countless other disco hits, though most remained anonymous due to contract restrictions. Fascinatingly, the song's famous "Dynamite" exclamation was added at the last minute when someone remembered the catchphrase in the TV show Good Times. They paid actor Jimmy Walker, who made the phrase famous, to use it. Walking in Rhythm by the Blackbirds represented a fusion of jazz education and funk energy. The band formed at Howard University under the mentorship of jazz trumpet legend Donald Byrd. Despite their academic origins, they faced criticism from jazz purists who thought they were selling out by making commercial funk music. The group's innovative blend of jazz, funk, and R&B influenced the development of acid jazz and neo-soul. Though they never reached the same commercial heights again, their music has been sampled extensively in hip-hop, including by Nas, Main Source, and A Tribe Called Quest. What many don't know is that the characteristic flute sound in the song isn't a flute at all. It's a synthesizer programmed to sound like one. This was cutting-edge technology in 1975, and the band had to fight their producer to keep the synthetic sound. Well, friends, we've just scratched the surface of these incredible songs turning 50. Each one carries stories of struggle, innovation, and the courage to challenge the status quo. Next time you hear one of these tracks, you'll know there's more to the story than meets the ear. If you've enjoyed these musical memories, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the songs that shaped our lives. Drop a comment below sharing your own memories of these songs. What do they mean to you? Until next time, keep the music playing, and remember, these songs might be turning 50, but their stories are as relevant as ever.